malware targeted at them as well. However, this is big business. There are multiple, there are literally dozens and dozens of businesses and organizations that develop malware and are constantly releasing updates to their consumers for the latest versions of browsers and browser support. So when people ask me about, is it a PC, Mac, or whatever as well, it's like, it doesn't matter. This is all about customers at the end. Question?
So obviously there's a lot of money involved in this, but it seems that the price points for the toolkits and stuff that are being distributed on the black market are really low. Do they distribute a lot of them, or is that basically what they're willing to sell them for?
Two parts. So they distribute a lot of them. Okay. Of course, all the big security researchers are buying them as well, so we can understand what's going on. But it's highly competitive. Okay. So to get started in this industry, key thing is, I make a point of, so 2000, 2002, everything was about script kiddies. Okay, we heard all about taking the script, running, and all that sort of stuff. Script kiddies then were 12, 14, 15 years old. 6 years on. In those 6 years, they've gone through college, they've gone to university, they've got computer science degrees. They know what they're doing. They're developing this stuff, and they're competing against their colleagues in that. So there are lots and lots of people actually developing this and competing against each other.
It just seems if you're going to be that unethical, there's a lot more money to be made in running the tools than to sit back and actually have to do the work of selling. Who says not to sell? Well, I mean, but like it strikes me almost that it's such a low cost point that it may be people who aren't writing the tools distributing them.
Well, but you can't look at it from the U.S. cost perspective. I mean, if they're made in the third world or second world.
It doesn't matter though. If you're running, if the proportion of the cost of the thing versus the amount of money, the difference between $300 and $300,000 is going to be equally as big whether you're in a poor economy or a good economy.
You have to sort of think that there's different aspects to it. So there's the malware creation, there's the third parties that are developing add-ons to this particular malware, there's the iframe injection tools for hosting and infecting sites, it's the exploit writers who are developing the malware that's going to install the Trojan in the backdoor in the first place. You've got the iframe distribution engines, you've got the SQL injection tools, so there's a whole ecosystem that's actually going on there, and it seems to be a popular pricing point that has been somewhere between $200 and $2,000 seems to be the comfortable part that people sort of getting involved in this business. I'm sure that there are even more sophisticated tools that are being custom designed for certain applications.
I've read about a lot of this, and I understand the whole economy except for that one point. Because to me, especially if you're organized crime somewhere, you're going to look at the fact that you basically have to run a software business, especially if you're doing recurring licensing and updates, which has an overhead associated with it, or you just keep it to yourself and rake in millions of dollars. I mean, just strikes me the profit margin on the retail business is so low. Why not just pay for the developer and keep it to yourself?
But if you include the whole idea of what's riskier, probably using the stuff puts you in a bigger risk of the wall.
I think if you're in Eastern Europe or something, you really just don't care.
Having multiple attackers also makes it more difficult for them to identify you.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of people involved. Sort of, if I mean, there is a lot. So, from what I've sort of seen from the malware sides, banking Trojans for a large part, finger in the air is probably about quarter, 20%, 25% of them are backdoored themselves, and other people extracting details. But there are so many different facets to this. So, for instance, for me to go online and buy 1,000 banking details, all the details I need to log in as an individual and to do a fund transfer. So 1,000 people's identities I can pick up for maybe $400 or $500. Okay. The trick though is to have that framework so that I have the mules to transfer that money into and get that money back out of the country and turn it into web dollars, PayPal dollars, back to US dollars or whatever. So there's just so many different aspects to it, and I think it just seems that there's supply and demand, and there's also this thing that everyone seems to be comfortable with this sort of pricing range at the moment, which has sort of helped dictating that. So, question about.
So, going back to the actual banking website, the ultimate solution to create some sort of whitelisting or create some way in which bankings are actually interacting directly with the customer instead of relying on the browser.
Well, There are some technologies that are being developed. IBM has big research teams and are looking at these different things. No clear-cut silver bullets for this. And certainly from my side, talk about security strategies for IBM, and that's how one of the things that we're facing is how do you protect your customers from their customers, and that's the whole thing that's really changed. And still working on it. And some of the things that I've run through in the last quarter of the presentation about just looking at those applications and how do you simplify things is more. The first step is being aware that these things are happening, how big it is, and why they're working. And fundamentally, it's the technology is very, very good, but it's very, very good because the social engineering aspects actually work. And if you have a look at a critical eye at the next time you log into your bank account, how much data and how many screens you have to go through and how much data could be requested from you, and how easy would it be for you to notice that extra pages or extra questions have been asked for. And today's applications place all the emphasis on the end user. So a lot of the things that we're looking at rely on correlation engines and anomaly detection that now sit inside the back ends to look for anomalous behaviors and things that are going on. But there are no solutions ready to this today, which means that if you want to make lots of money, think of some, set up your business, and maybe IBM will come along and buy it afterwards.
What about a hardware device that used asymmetric cryptography that sent a message that had to be displayed or entered in the hardware?
At the end of the day, it's down to a user. How many key fobs do you want to carry around? So yes, you can add all these new cool features, but you're increasing complexity.
Same cost, but if there's 300,000 or 300 million Americans and you have 100 billion, that's 3,000 per head in the U.S., so that's a little bit more than what it costs to develop a device like that. Right?
True, but then you've got to train everyone how to use it. I mean, how many people complain about using a remote control for their TV? Okay, and now you're going to say, well, you want to you want to order post-it notes and things like that. There's a question about it.
What success have you had, as you say, getting the companies to protect themselves from their own clients? What success have you had with getting the marketing people to not say turn on all the features, or to understand that the solution to this is not to allow everything possible and then dig out?
It's getting better. To be honest, a lot of the content that I talked about, and you would have seen some of the dates, and that I could have given this presentation December last year. Okay, in fact, I gave a little bit of snippet of this sort of thing, which resulted in me not allowed to talk about it, and had bank accounts closed. Okay, and things have moved on from there. So education, understanding what's actually really happening there. There's still a long, long way to go on this, but yeah, I mean, we're in this. We just need to look at Vista and all the latest operating systems. Everything's about features. Okay, so we're still on that. So security is still a back burner. So that's the last question before we have to get out of here.
Are you going to post your slides somewhere?
Yes, I think they've made a request for them, and they'll be on the Owasp website. Cool. Thank you all.